Hi there. Thank you very much for joining me. Today I wanted to discuss how to prepare your funds for closing. Now, what normally happens, or on I guess the average person, we don't keep all our eggs in one basket. We have multiple accounts. We have a savings account, checking, maybe a retirement account, stocks and bonds, maybe a joint savings and checking, trust savings and checking. These are all acceptable sources of funds. However, what I see happen often, and what I'd like to share in this video is to avoid, is having to collect so much documentation on each one because what happens is, let's say we have we know that we're going to be needing $50,000 to close this transaction. Instead of saying, okay, I've got $50,000. I've got 10 in my personal savings, 10 in checking, 20 in the joint checking, and another 10 in stocks and bonds. If we were to go that route, right, I will need to source funds from each of those accounts. And what sourcing funds means is just identifying the source of funds. How do we do that? I collect a minimum 2 month history from any account that funds are going to be used to close. In this example, we have four, right? And so that's going to be a 2 month history, to 8 months of statements, which is fine. But what I'd like to share today is to keep things simple. And if we know we're going to be purchasing, if you've come to get pre-qualified, you're pretty committed. I mean, you're not committed, but you're getting yourself ready. And in this case, what I'd like to suggest is let's start moving this money into one place now, as opposed to when we enter into contract and then start to scramble and start to move your 10,000 from your personal savings to your checking account, your other 10,000 here, and your $20,000 here. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to have a statement on this personal checking account, and I'm going to see all this money coming in. And I'm going to have to ask the question, okay, where did that come from? Well, Shane, we got a personal savings account. I've got all these accounts. That's where it came from. Okay, well, I'm gonna need those, not just the 2 month history of those, but if you did it right when you entered into contract, that transfer of funds likely isn't on that 2 month statement. So now I'm gonna need to see the updated statement. Sometimes the statement didn't come out yet. So I'm gonna ask you to go online to your account, take a snapshot of your current um, statement or transaction history that shows the 10,000 coming out, that shows the 10,000 coming out, that shows the 20,000 coming out, and also the statement, month to date statement here that shows all of these funds coming in. And to be honest, that can be cumbersome. In this purchase process during that 45 days, you're going to have a lot going on. You're going to be signing things for your realtor, for escrow, and also for me. And so this video is really just to suggest how do we be proactive about this? How do I avoid just a mumbo jumbo of statements and having to show Shane, how and where and when exactly all this money came from? Well, we've got pre-qualified. We have a good idea of how much money that we're going to need to close. In this case, we're looking at $50,000. Let's be proactive about it. Even though we haven't necessarily identified a property yet, we know that we're committed more or less to this 50,000. Let's move that money in now. Okay? Start to do that as soon as possible because let's say 2 months from now, we do find a property, you do have a contract accepted. Now we're only looking at a 2 month history from one account, just from here. Why? Because 2 months ago, you'd already put all these funds in. So those funds have become seasoned. That's kind of uh, the terminology that I would use or the industry uses just to say that it's been in there for 2 months. And now I don't have to know about where it came from because, to be honest, on your 2 month transaction history, it doesn't even show this money coming in, right? It's seasoned, it's been in there. And in that case, now we're only looking at, again, the 2 month history, and we're only writing a check from one thing at one time. to your closing costs at recording. Now that's going to save you a lot of headache, a lot of questions from me, and really you're going to be doing the same thing, the same transferring, but you're just doing it ahead of time instead of during the contract. And that's going to save you a lot of paperwork, a lot of time in a time that you've already got a lot going on. And so really, I just wanted to share that um, with you so that you can, if you're in that considering to purchase process, starting to structure your accounts and prepare your funds proactively to just avoid a little headache down the line because you're going to be doing the same thing, whether it's now or whether it's in contract. Better to do it now, better to be proactive, keep things simple, keep it easy, keep it organized. And that's the tip for today. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. I do appreciate it. Have a great day.